Hello people, welcome back to my channel Visualize with Winnie, and in today's video we are going to talk about the rest part of the GS2 syllabus, that is the governance part, the social justice part and the international relations part. And in this video I will talk to you only about the precise syllabus of that and also the kind of questions that were asked from 2023 to 2013, that is the 10-year syllabus. Without any further delay, we will just jump into the topic, and in the end I will give you some suggestions also that will help improve your preparation. So talking about the governance part, in the governance part there are a lot of topics to be covered, to be very frank. So there are a lot of things that has been happening in the governance side, but what UPSC is interested in, when you go through the previous year question papers, you will understand the government is more interested in the slogan of minimum government and maximum governance through the electronic form, because through electronic or digital means, when you have governance, there will be more transparency, accountability. These are all the words that you can even find in the syllabus itself, because one of the important aspects of good governance is transparency and accountability, and there are a lot of measures that government is undertaking to bring that in the governance side. And one important measure is the e-governance or the DBT, direct benefit transfer, or other digital forms, and other methods are also followed, like citizens charter. But now as we move towards the digitized world, the e-governance is becoming more of a common topic, and UPSC is more interested in that. In the previous year question paper, you can find like 5 to 6 questions have been asked from that part alone. I will just stick those questions in this video in the corner. You can just look at them and understand how important it is to study about e-governance, its uses, its limitations, its way forward. So prepare everything about it in detail, because you may get a question, and whenever there is a topic on e-governance in newspapers, place emphasis on that and read it. And when talking about social justice, in the social justice part, mainly 3 things are covered. So one is the welfare schemes to the vulnerable. As I already said, the most kind of vulnerable people in India comes to SC, ST women. Apart from that, you have disabled, transgenders, now the LGBTQ plus or the other genders. These are all the vulnerable groups in India. Even the elderly comes under the vulnerable group. So study what are all the important schemes that are available for vulnerable. Just have a basic idea, and if there is any scheme or any issue associated with the scheme, please do study about it, because in the syllabus you have a topic called as issue related to government interventions or government schemes. So even in the previous year question paper, when you look into detail on it, you will understand that they are asked questions about the issues in the centrally sponsored scheme, how can states better implement the schemes for the vulnerable, and what is the issue in the right to education scheme. So these are all the, even the midday meal scheme has been for long, so discuss its positives and the challenges. So questions are asked in this kind. So whenever you're studying some schemes that have been brought out, even the national education policy was a question. So whenever you're studying a scheme or a policy, whenever there comes an issue, place emphasis on that. Even UPSC is not asking so mild schemes, because there are a lot of schemes that the government is undertaking. The one that is repeatedly in news, the one that's issue is going on. For example, in the recent past, there's a lot of issues of like bogus accounts under MG Narega. So these are all the things that are in news. So place emphasis on that and start preparing for that, because going through the previous year question paper, you will find that such kind of questions are asked. So vulnerable section schemes are something that you will place emphasis on when it comes to social justice. And other part of the thing, apart from government, who in the society tries to bring social justice, is the NGOs or the self-help groups. The self-help groups, through microfinance, they try to bring it out, that is by lending out loans at a minimal rate of interest to its members. And also the NGOs, which take a lot of efforts to bring equality in the society. So these are the other organizations in the society or the stakeholders in the society who try to bring social justice. There are also 6 to 8 questions that have been asked throughout the years under these two topics. So also place emphasis on that. And another topic that comes under the governance part is the role, governance and social justice part, is role of civil servants in the society. There are like 4 to 5 questions asked from this topic, but it is not very important topic. But even in civil services, you should understand the issues present in the civil services and what are the reforms that can be brought in the civil services, any committee's recommendations, learn some basic parts of it, or prepare answers for the previous year question paper based on it. That is more than sufficient. So these are the basic topics that are covered under these two sections. And when it comes to international relations, you can classify the syllabus into 4 topics, 4 subtopics. One is India and its neighborhood. Another one is the bilateral, multilateral or other global groupings of which India is a part or India is affected because of this part. Another one is the policies that take place in the developed or developing countries that will affect India on a larger scale. And the last topic is international institutions, their structure and mandate. So when I say India and its neighborhood, you know, China is a member, Maldives is a member, Sri Lanka is a member. So that is why you will see a lot of questions of this kind in the previous year question paper based on this. So whatever is in news, for example, Nepal Kalapani issue was in news, China's border clash was in news, and Sri Lanka's debt-ridden condition is in news, and Afghanistan recently when US pulled over, we were in a situation of supporting either side. It was a neighbor, so it was in news. So place emphasis on neighborhood relations and understand the basic of it either through newspapers or through the notes or whatever. If you are joined a coaching class, if they give some materials, prepare of that kind. And the second thing is the global grouping or bilateral grouping or multilateral grouping. Bilateral means between two countries relations. So they are not going to ask you very tough questions, but the most recent one or the most important kind of thing that has happened affecting India's interest, only they will ask that. For example, if you take nuclear deal between India and USA is one of the question that is asked. Why? Because in the US domestic law itself, you have a provision saying that we shouldn't trade with India because it is not a part of the non-proliferation treaty. It has not signed these kind of treaties, so we shouldn't do. It is a law even in the domestic law of US, but still we managed to influence US and get the Indo-nuclear or civil nuclear deal signed in 2005. So it is a very significant move of India showing its diplomatic leverage, right? So that is why that question is asked. Similarly, when you come to West Asia, we are majorly dependent on them for oil, and there are a lot of issues that took place during 2020 and those kind of things. So that is why those questions are asked. And when it comes to Russia, Ukraine and Russia are at war, but we are getting oil, we are going for strategic autonomy. That is why those particular countries' bilateral relations are asked. So they are not going to ask you from, you know, very hard kind of questions, but the most recent one or the most important one are only going to be asked. And similarly, global groupings are also for that kind only they are going to ask. For example, in the recent years, you can see that they have asked questions from SCO, BIMSTEC. From BIMSTEC, they have asked questions from AUKUS, recent grouping, Australia, UK grouping, they have asked questions, and Quad, they have asked questions, and I2U2, they have asked questions. So these are the most recent international groupings that you can see in the news, and from this only they are asking you questions. They are not going to ask you questions from a rare end. So be updated with current affairs when it comes to international relations, because apart from it you will not have your questions. And UNSC, they have asked questions, WTO, they have asked questions, UNESCO, they have asked questions. The most popular institutions as well as the most challenging tasks that we have been facing in recent times in these institutions are only asked. So in conclusion, to talk about international relations, current affairs, be updated with current affairs and update yourself with current affairs. That is more than sufficient according to me to go for international relations along with the previous year question papers. So that is sufficient, I think. So that is all about the things in today's videos. And the tip that I have to give you is, I already said you that prepare question paper of all of these kind and keep revising these questions as and when you read the subject. For example, if you have time and you're reading history today, if you have prepared for modern history, please take that and read that questions once and then go on for the subject. Every time read the question and then go for the subject, so you will only read what is needed and you will not read extra things, and you will emphasize what is asked in the question paper while you're revising or reading those subjects. So try doing that, it will really help you. So that is a smart tip that I have to give you today. And as I already said, keep preparing, keep aspiring, don't waste your time. And one more thing I have to say you is, I think you have completed your GS2 also. Of all the topics you have taken questions and prepared the MS Word, like the sample that I have sent you in the group. So hopefully if you have completed it, from tomorrow onwards we can start with the GS3. I know it is a tiresome task searching for questions and putting them, but only for 2 to 5 days you will do this. After this, if you have completed that, we can directly jump on to the studying part and learn from the question papers. So it will be a very easy task after that, and we can easily complete our task. If you have any doubts, you can leave it in the comment section below. And if you have anything to say or anything to share regarding this, you can post it in the Telegram group. And thanks for your likes, shares, and do subscribe the channel for further updates, and do share it to your friends if you feel this is helpful. And meet you in another video. Bye bye.